What's good, YouTube? Swiftly here, back with another NBA 2K video. Well, technically speaking, this is NBA Live. Got some NBA Live gameplay going on in the background because I was feeling a little nostalgic and kind of wanted to run back one of my favorite NBA Live games. I think this is NBA Live 07 that I'm playing, and of course I'm screwing around in All-Star Weekend. That's just in the background. But today I kind of want to talk about how we can fix NBA 2K, bruh. Now, I know people probably are going to say, oh, there's nothing wrong with NBA 2K. And then, half of you will probably agree with me that, the series has been kind of in the dumpster. On this channel, I often talk about the golden era of 2K, which for me was 2K10 to 2K17. You could even go as far back to like 2K8. I would say, and the reason why I say from 2K8 to 2K17 was because 2K8 for me was when 2K had finally taken the torch from Live and was the better game. Up until that point, Live was either equal or better than 2K, in my humble opinion. 07 was like the last year that Live was really good, which is what you're seeing on your screen. And then after that, it was like 2K just ran away with the race and, just blew Live out the water. Live 08, 10, Elite or whatever it was called. Every Live after 07 has been straight dumpster juice, in my opinion, and 2K8 was the reason why I stopped playing NBA Live. Now, with that being said, it has been a very long time since we've had a great NBA 2K game. I talked about this in my video where I ranked all of the 2Ks, which if you haven't seen, I'll definitely link down below. But I discussed this in that previous video, and I've discussed it on this channel multiple times. It's been a long time since we had a great NBA 2K game. We've had some decent ones. We've had some playable ones. We've had some okay-ish to good 2K games, but we haven't had a great 2K game. Like, I mean, a great game where, just overall across the board, the game was great. You didn't really have too many major complaints, you know what I'm saying? And for me, 17 was that last year that 2K was great. Was 2K17 perfect? No, it wasn't perfect by any means. There hasn't been a single NBA 2K game that was perfect. Even one of my favorite games in 2K10. If you go back to 2K10, I'm pretty sure if I play 2K10 right now and really sat with that game for about a week, I can give you multiple, complaints about, what I would fix or what I would want to change about that game. So I'm not saying that, 2K17 was perfect. 2K16 was perfect. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10. They weren't perfect, but they were great games, and they were definitely better than the games that we've gotten in the last 6 or 7 years, in my opinion. Since 2K18, we haven't gotten a single great 2K game. From 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, we're almost going to be at a decade, and we haven't gotten a single great 2K game since. And to me, that's pretty bad. Now, with that being said, it's pretty easy to just, jump on the trend of shitting on 2K, which is kind of the trend nowadays, is to just shit on the game. It's very easy to, critique and shit on something and call something trash without, recommending or giving any type of resolutions to it. And I kind of want to be different. I don't want this channel to just be a channel where I just pile on 2K and say that the game is trash and it's dog shit or whatever. That's what everybody's doing on YouTube. So this video, I kind of want to, just give out some minor solutions that we can put forward, into the game to make the game better. Now, the first things first, gameplay. Number one thing, it is the most important things. It's more important than the graphics. It's more important than the presentation. It's more important than, the bullshit season pass, battle pass, Fortnite collabs, and, the stupid dance moves and the outfits and all of that stuff like that. What designer brand they could get in the game. The most important thing and the reason why you play, the gameplay. The gameplay needs to be revamped. Okay? They need to revamp. They need to change some of these things. And most importantly, and this is the thing that I know people are going to, disagree, or they're going to be split down the middle on. And for me, it sucks because this was one of the main reasons why I actually started to love 2K, and then now it's gotten out of control. And that is the animations, okay? Like, back in 2K8, 2K9, when, they first started adding in real player jump shot animation, real player SIGs, dunk packages, and all of that stuff. That was the real difference between NBA Live and 2K, is that 2K had real player signature animations. You actually had Jason Kidd, blowing the kiss before shooting the free throw. You actually had Jerry Stackhouse squatting down low and then rising up to shoot his free throw. You actually had LeBron James leaning back and fading on his jumper. Same thing with Allen Iverson and all these other players. Like, you had the real signature animations in the game. And that's what made these games just so much more realistic and better. Real simulation basketball, if you will. Now you fast forward 10, 20 years later, and it's one of the things that I hate the most about this game, bro. The animation, the can animations, losing control over your player, it is just an awful, awful feeling. Now, I will say that with 2K25, they kind of moved away from a lot of those canned animations, but there are still animations that are kind of canned, and you get sucked into an animation and you can't do anything about it. At no point should I not have control over my player. Full stop. I don't care what game it is. I don't give a fuck what mode I'm playing. There should be no point in time where I'm playing the game and I not have full 100% control over my player. A good example of this was in 2K24 and 2K23. Somebody would reach and poke the ball loose, right? And I don't know about you, but I've played basketball before. I played in high school and college. And I played recreational basketball, played in rec leagues and stuff like that. When somebody pokes the ball and I lose the ball and fumble the ball, you know what I do? As a basketball player, I grab the ball and pick up my dribble and stop myself from turning the ball over, right? That's what most people will do. If you watch NBA basketball, somebody get a poke ball, poke the ball loose or something, you know what the NBA player does? He grabs the ball and picks the ball up. He doesn't want to turn the ball over. That's what a smart player would do. But in NBA 2K, you don't have the option of doing that, because when they poke the ball, it triggers this stupid ass long-winded animation where your character starts twerking and crawling all over the floor like fucking P. Diddy at like an oil fest or something, instead of just grabbing and picking the ball up and then looking for a teammate to pass the ball to save the turnover. Your player does the exact opposite of that. He does everything but that. He starts twerking, he starts crawling on the floor, he starts dribbling the ball, doing all kinds of dumb and one bullshit, and then guess what? You still lose the ball and it's still a turnover. I should have the option of whether I want to keep trying to dribble or if I want to pick the ball up, okay? And in most cases, I'm going to choose to pick the ball up because I don't want to risk turning the ball over, okay? Like, that's what I mean by canned animations where you can't really do anything about it. Now, in 2K25, they kind of got rid of that. You don't see as many of those canned animations, but there are still animations where, you do a Euro and you get sucked into a stone wall and you can't do anything about it. Somebody comes down the lane, tries to get a meter dunk, and it just sucks you into a contact dunk. You can't jump, you can't take a charge, you can't do anything. You're just sucked into jumping and getting posterized. And if you're lucky, they miss the dunk. If you're not lucky, you get banged on and there was nothing you can do about it. You can't jump. You can't try to block them. You can't try to take a charge. You can't do anything. You're just sucked into this animation and you're either going to take an L or you're going to get lucky and they miss the dunk. That's pretty much it. That needs to be done away with. Like, I'm sorry. Like, there's nothing worse to me in a video game than not having full control over my player, bro. And like I said, I know people are going to be on the fence about this. I know people are going to be 50-50 down the middle. Because again, like I said, the animations and all of that stuff were one of the major reasons why 2K was better than Live and why I made that switch, to 2K over Live, The contest system. The contest system is definitely something that needs to be revamped and reworked. And I'm not talking about the bullshit, yearly shit that they always say every year. We revamped the contest system. We redid the contest system. We reconfigured the contest system. And then you know what they do? They put out a patch, and then instead of it being a number percent, now they just give us this bullshit lightly, moderately, whatever the fuck that they changed to this year, where they put out the patch saying they revamped the contest system, and the contest system is still bullshit. You got dudes missing, open contests or whatever, but then they're splashing heavily red contests, like dudes with real player, they're not even timing it. People with real player on hitting consistently yellow and red contest layups, bro. Like, it's a fucking joke, bro. Defense needs to be more consistent. This year, I don't blame anybody for not going high on defense because it just doesn't seem to matter. Dudes are hitting whatever fucking shots they want. I'm seeing dudes hitting normal risk, yellow contest, red contest. Like, it's like I'm living in a matrix where nothing makes sense, bro. Where you might drop something and it might fall to the floor 3 times, and then the 4th time you drop it, instead of it falling to the floor, the shit just floats up to the ceiling. That's what playing this game feels like. It feels like you're jacking into the matrix and you don't know what the fuck you're actually gonna get from game to game. One game you're 9 for 9 and you're shooting, your jump shot feels fine, and you're playing defense, you're getting blocks, you're getting stops, and then the next game you're 3 for 9, you can't shoot, you can't get a stop, dudes are dunking on you, they're laying the ball up, red contest, you can't block anything, you can't steal anything. Every pass that you throw is a turnover. Every time they throw a pass, you just tip it out of bounds. It's just crazy. It's insane. The steals and blocks, it does not equal defense. And I think that's one of the biggest issue with 2K and the 2K community, because I'm not giving the 2K community a pass on this. Steals and blocks don't equal defense. You know what equals defense? Getting a stop, stopping your man. You don't have to get a steal or a block to stop your man. Okay? As long as you in their possession, you played good defense that possession. For the most part. I mean, unless they're wide open and they're missing a wide open shot, then you didn't play good defense. But getting a stop, forcing your matchup into a bad shot or into a shot that he don't want to take, that is what equals good defense. Not, I spammed square and I got a steal. That's great defense. I was just DJing in the air. Those guys that just mash square the whole time that they're guarding you off ball, and they're just DJing in the air. The guy's just reaching. And it just looks like somebody DJing. They're just DJing in the air, bro. That's not good defense. Good defense is, sagging off a little bit, playing the middle where you could play their backdoor cut and you can contest their shot. And then when they get the ball, you kind of force them into a dumbass shot because they can't blow past you. And then they also don't have enough room to just, cleanly pull off a shot without getting contested. That's good defense. You don't need to get a steal. You don't need to get a block. That's not the idea of great defense, bro. Forcing them into a bad shot, forcing them into a contested shot, forcing them to just shoot a shot that they don't even want to shoot. They got a 75 mid-range and a 93 ball. They would rather shoot that 93 ball, but you're not giving them the 3. Now they got to force a moving midi or something with a 75 mid-range, and now you got them shooting a shot that they don't want to take. Or maybe you got 85 perimeter but a 95 interior, so you kind of play them close so that you can force them to drive into the paint. And now you got a 95 interior defense. You're making them take a shot that they really shouldn't be taking when they have a better chance at scoring a jump shot on you versus laying the ball up on you because you have high-ass interior and a lower perimeter defense. That is good basketball IQ and good defense. It doesn't mean that you have to get a steal and block. And that's what 2K needs to take into consideration when they're making their game. The builder is something else that needs to be, revamped. And no, I'm not saying that I want pie charts back. That is far from what we need. We've evolved to the point of getting rid of pie charts. We do not need to go back to dog shit pie charts. I don't want the game deciding what my attributes should be. I should be in charge of what I want my attributes to be. If I want an 85 speed and a 90 agility, if I want a 65 speed and a 95 agility, I should have that right to choose how I make my build. Pie charts being back is the stupidest thing that I've seen this community ask for. You went from wanting freedom to now saying, hey, look, I don't want the freedom anymore. Choose for me. No, it is stupid as fuck. It is dumb as fuck. We don't need pie charts back. What we need is for 2K to better balance the builder. For one, attributes should matter over badges. You know, badges matter too much. Badges influence the game too much. The attributes are what matters because the attributes is what gets you the level of badges that you can use. So attributes should have more of a way on the gameplay and how good a person is versus just slapping on a badge and now, oh, I'm better because I have a badge. No. The attributes should matter more. The attributes technically influence everything because it influences what animations that you can get, what jump shots you can get, what layups, dunk packages, and all of that stuff, as well as what badges and badge levels you can or can't get in this game. So if it influences that much of the game, then shouldn't the attributes carry that much more weight in the gameplay? But it don't, because you got dudes with a 93 mid-range and a 65 3-ball splashing green threes because they got legend badges or Hall of Fame badges, which to me is just fucking nonsense. It is stupid. It is dumb. And the answer to fixing that isn't, hey, we should get pie charts back. That isn't the answer to fixing that. The answer to fixing that is 2K doing a better job at balancing their game and making attributes matter more over badges. We also need a better balancing of the builds and the builder. Again, pie charts, bringing pie charts back and all of that, bringing archetypes back doesn't fix that. It's not the solution. What the solution is them better balancing their builder. There's no reason why a 5'7", 5'8", 5'9" guard should be getting an 80 or 85 driving dunk. There's not a single dude who is 5'7" in the NBA right now currently playing that is dunking like that. So there's absolutely no fucking reason why a 5'8", 5'9", 5'7" build. Please don't tell me Spud Webb. Please don't tell me Nate Robinson. Nate Robinson hasn't played in the NBA in like probably over 10 years. Spud Webb hasn't played in the NBA in like 40 years or some shit like that. We're talking about currently in today's NBA, there isn't any 5'6", 5'7", 5'8" player that is dunking like that. Okay? So there is absolutely no reason for why somebody should be able to do that. There's no 7'2", 7'3", 7'4" player that's putting the ball on the floor, splashing threes and doing all of that shit either. So that archetype, that ability to make that, it shouldn't exist. And I know people are going to say, well, it's a video game and that they should be able to make the player that they want. And on that aspect, I do agree with you. But that just brings me to my next point. And that is 2K needs to decide if they want to be an arcade basketball game or if they want to make a realistic basketball sim. This bullshit that they've been doing for the last 5, 6, 7, maybe even 8 years where they kind of split it down the middle where like half of the game is realistic and then the other half of the game is just Looney Tunes tier bullshit. It just doesn't work. It doesn't. And that is the reason why the game has been kind of mid or even pure dog shit the last decade or so, because they can't decide if they want to go full arcade and be NBA Jam, NBA Street, or if they want to go full basketball sim and be a realistic, serious basketball game. And as long as they try to play, you know, that middle ground and toe the lines for both, you're going to just have like a really, really, you know, unsatisfying basketball game. I'll put it at that. I won't say trash or shit because there are some people who are satisfied with the game. But as long as they toe that line and they try to go down the middle and try to appease both crowds, you know, hey, man, look, you're just going to have to choose. You either want a realistic basketball sim and you're just going to have those arcade people who want an arcadey, Looney Tunes tier, actiony basketball game. Let them go somewhere else and find their niche somewhere else, or you go full Looney Tunes arcade game and you let the people who want that realistic real basketball sim find their niche somewhere else. But this towing the line going down the middle, it just isn't it. Now that brings me to the next thing that I also want to talk about as far as fixing this game is the city. We don't need the city anymore. Like, can we just we just need to, I mean, personally, I'm not mad at them having a city because I know that, one, they're going to keep it just because the ad revenue, you know, being able to show you guys Ruffles and Reese's and Mountain Dew and Chips Ahoy and all this other bullshit, Supreme and all of that stuff. It's free ad space for them. So they're going to keep the city. No amount of bitching or crying or complaining is going to make them get rid of the city, and that's perfectly fine, right? Y'all want it for ad space or whatever, do your thing. We should have the option of just menu queues, right? Like, I don't want to sit around in a park waiting for a match. It's part of the reason why I really only play rec. Because with rec, I could just walk into the rec and immediately load into a match in like less than 15 seconds. I'm in a match. I got 5 people on my team, 5 on the other team, and I'm playing. We're good to go. Every mode should have that sort of matchmaking if you choose to. If I want to just load straight into park and just get 2 random teammates and then match up against 2-3 random guys or 2s or 1s, we should have that. We shouldn't have to go to a rank mode and proving ground to get that. We shouldn't have to go into a separate mode or theater and do that. We should just be able to have menu queues if that's what we want. Another thing that we need to have as well is positional queue. The same way you go to the settings and you select whatever your jersey number is, whatever your fake social media handle and all of that stuff is that you can edit in the settings, you should be able to choose your position queue. So if I make a point guard, then I should be able to choose my primary position queue of point guard. And then you know what? If I don't mind playing shooting guard, then I could choose my secondary position queue as shooting guard. Okay, and you shouldn't be able to go up or down more than one position. So if you make a shooting guard, you should only be able to queue as a point guard, a shooting guard, or small forward. You shouldn't be able to queue up as a power forward or a center, and vice versa. If you're a center, you shouldn't be able to go up or down more than one. So if you're a center, you can queue as a power forward, and that's it. If you're a point guard, you can queue as a shooting guard. That's it. If you're a small forward, then you should be able to queue as a shooting guard, a small forward, or a power forward. You can go up 1 or you can go down 1. But we don't need centers queuing at shooting guard and trying to get mismatches and all of that stuff like that. No, we don't want that. We don't need that. And I know that's the first thing that this community would do, because this community loves trying to do cheesy shit. It loves trying to break the game constantly. Whatever like cheesy, corny tactics they can use to get free wins, people will do it. The people that play this game would push their grandmother down 3 flights of steps if it means getting a 71% in this game, bro. That's just this community. We just have to accept that. So I would love to see positional queues, just because then people will make the positions that they want to make. People don't want to make power forward builds, because if they make a power forward build, there is a slight chance that they will get pushed to center. People don't want to make shooting guard builds like that, because then they make shooting guard and then they're constantly getting pushed to small forward. Small forwards constantly getting forced to play power forward because nobody makes power forwards. And it just goes on and on and on, and people getting pushed out of position. So then what the positional queues would do is you'd be able to make it to where you play your position. If I make a power forward, I can set my primary queue position to power forward, and then I don't select the secondary queue position, or maybe I select the small forward. And then when you go into a match, you would either get placed at power forward or small forward. You will never get placed at center. And that's what this game needs. It's a shame that the game doesn't have this. And no, don't tell me that it does have that, because it doesn't. Okay? Like, it really doesn't. It should, but it doesn't. Now, moving on, another thing that this game needs, we need more emphasis on 5v5 basketball, because that's what basketball is. At the core, it's 5v5 basketball, whether it's NBA, whether it's WNBA, whether it's college, whether it's high school. At the core, it's 5-on-5 basketball. Yes, we know park is popular. Yes, people love 3s and 2s and 1s, but at its very core, basketball is 5-on-5. There should be more emphasis, more rewards and all of that stuff for 5v5 basketball, rec, and pro-am. We need more rewards for ranked modes. If you're going to have 9,000 different rank modes of proving grounds and pro-am and all of that stuff, then you know what? There needs to be better rewards for it. And then finally, for me personally, affiliations need to be revamped, or they need to go. Okay, they need to just either be revamped and you need to fix it, or you need to make it to where affiliations are just cosmetic and they don't change or do anything, and it's just cosmetic of, oh, I'm Old Town, I'm Rivet, I'm Elite, I'm, Rise or whatever, but it needs to be revamped or changed. It is kind of insane that, Rise can have an advantage over Elite for 2-3 months. And then, yeah, sure, at the end of the year, you get some pity wins. They did the same thing last year in 2K24 where everybody was Elite. Nobody really went Rise. And then Elite won majority of the battles between the affiliations. But then they, gave Rise some pity wins. I think Rise got like 3 wins and Elite won like 5 or whatever. But they gave them some pity wins so that it wasn't completely unfair. But what they need to do is they just need to get rid of it. They need to either get rid of the rep boosts and affiliations or whatever, or they need to make it to where both affiliations get the boost. Which I don't think anybody would complain about that, right? Like, if your affiliation wins, you get like a 50% or whatever the normal rep boost is. And then if your affiliation lose, you just get half of whatever that boost is. So if the winner gets a 50% rep boost, then the loser should get a 25 to 20% rep boost. Like, it's not going to hurt anything, and everybody still gets something, especially when you consider majority of the people getting the boost, they're not even the ones contributing. They're going in, they're playing 1 or 2 games just so that they get the rep boost, and then they're leaving, and they're going back to playing what they normally play. So they're not even contributing to really getting the rep boost or their affiliation winning. So it's just kind of nuts to me that they get to reap the benefits of that while also not contributing jack shit. So that, or they need to just increase the amount of games played for you to get the rep boost, maybe. To me, that's dumb, though. I think that just both affiliations should get it. But let me know down below, what are some of your ideas that can be implemented to help fix NBA 2K? Because right now, the game is just not in a good place. Let me know in the comments down below, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more NBA 2K content. It has been your boy Swiftly. I'm out, y'all. Catch y'all in the next video. Peace.